That's wild. I forgot that that was the thumbnail. I forgot that the thumbnail was clouds today. Oh, wow. Wow, hi. Hello everybody. Welcome to, is that right? It's 212, right? Oh, he's falling. He's falling. He's falling. Sorry about that minor hiccup. Hmm. Oh, it's marvelous today. Welcome to Morning Medley number 212. And I am actually going to start with sounds 212, which it's an organ. It's an organ again. Good morning, Isidore. I love. Anyways, okay. Let me get back on track. Um, yeah, Isidore is on time today. Extremely on time. So thank you. Forgot to turn it down. Forgot to turn it down. Organs are always really quiet for some reason on this keyboard, so I always need to turn up the organs and turn down the pianos. Mm. Guys, it is 212 today, which, if you're not familiar, is the area code is one of the area codes in New York City. It's a New York City area code. So, have I prepared something cool and New York themed to do in today's stream? No. No, I have not. But that's a little piece of trivia that you can put in your hat. 212 is a New York thing. No, I haven't, Isidore. I don't know what movie you're talking about. I did like Eternal Sunshine, though. wasn't that Nate Dogg? Cyber? The regulator? And different area codes, area. Yeah, it was Nate Dogg. Wow, my memory's pretty dope, actually. So, check me out. Anyways, yeah, that's Nate Dogg. This has been down the serial killer interview rabbit hole. Jesus Christ. Come back, Diz. Oh, yeah? How do you like OBS, Kiwi? I'm the least tech savvy person, says Kiwi, on the planet, so thankfully my roommate knows all about the program. There's a lot going on, but I'm slowly figuring it out. Word up, I feel you. From my experiences, I mean, I use Streamlabs OBS now, which is a little bit different than OBS. Like it looks a little bit different, some aspects of it, but it's the same thing. I would say the program is extremely user friendly. I wouldn't say that you would have to be even that tech savvy to figure it out. It's pretty good. I'm glad that you have your roommate to help you, but it's very visual. I would say very visual, and the fact that you can like name your own things makes it a lot easier than having to like actually learn a bunch of terms that a program has. Like you get to kind of input your own. There we go. started playing Clover Salad again, which I had stopped playing for several months. Oh wow, it hit me. Oh, the smell of garbage hit me all at once. Oh wow, jeez. My window isn't completely closed, and oh I wow, that's rotting food. That's rotten food is what that is. Um, I'll wait till the garbage truck leaves to get to the bottom of the chat, so nobody can probably hear me anyway. Hello, Daniel. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. Also, thank you for making it to the stream. Kiwi says, you've been posting stories, a lot of stories. Oh, you've been posting a lot of stories lately. I haven't really been posting a lot of stories, Kiwi. I just went from posting 0 stories for several months to posting some stories, and it feels fine, I guess. Um, Server says, it might be cool. What if you wrote out like a set list of something for the stream on a piece of paper and then sent it out to fans of the stream? And it was Are you talking to me? Oh, sorry. Cyber says, what if you wrote out a set list? Kind of like if you were performing live. I'm adding that. Of something for the stream on a piece of paper and then sent it out to fans of the stream as like a thank you for frequent watching. Hmm. If I could only get whatever the heck the set list is. Half of these songs aren't real, Cyber. I feel like the set list would say like key lime, addendum, and then alternate, Spring Street, and then like scribble, 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 doodle, doodle, improv, improv, freelance, talk for 15 minutes, and then I don't know, the first 20 seconds of over and under, then distraction, garbage truck, squirrel outside, new song, trying to make new song work. New song's not working. Remember this one? Remember this thing? I'm still trying to make that one work. I still, song title inspired by, hmm. Or XYZ is the person who you had named them. Mm. You know what's weird? Sometimes people will name things, and it makes the person, Cyber, it makes the person more, it'll make that person more, what's the word? Memorable? I'm here until 12, says Dar. I don't know what time it is currently for you, but thank you for being here at all, Dar. Also, we've had chiller, like lower temperatures in the night, so this has been the shirt that I sleep in now. I didn't know that gray was a pastel color. I actually don't know how pastels work. So let me not say something wrong. Hey, so what's up, Soothsayer? Thanks for being in the stream, suit. I'm not exactly sure what pastels are. When somebody says pastel, I think I always think of like light blue, light pink, light green, like these faded colors. I never think of gray. I never think of gray as being a pastel thing. Anything light is pastel when you dress in monochrome. Oh, are you bending the rules of pastel colors to accommodate me, or is gray truly a pastel color? I picture something a few shades lighter than bold. Oh, so pastel isn't necessarily a grouping of specific colors. It's just a shade? Is that what I'm getting? Because when I think pastels, I think of Easter. When I think of Easter, I think of like lavender and faded pink. Yeah, the colors are faded, but I think of specific colors, I guess. But I mean, those are all just faded primary colors, I suppose. So yeah, like a light green. I think I'm learning something in the stream today. I don't really wear pastels often, unless you mean my art thing. Hey, I don't really wear, you know, including white and black. You usually only wear shades of gray, including white and black. True. Yes, Dar. Yes. So light gray is the closest to pastel you'd functionally. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's omni pastel. I feel like if I went, you're the only person that's ever referred to anything I've worn as pastel, Dar, and so that's why. That's why I was like, maybe I don't know what pastel is. Fracas made a song called Shades of Grey. Who's Fracas? UK music producer. Okay, all right. Okay, okay. Wow, Dar's got a call back to a stream from a minute ago. What up, Dar? I got sidetracked. Cyber. Oh, Cyber. Sometimes when people name songs, it makes me remember them better. Like Kit James, bless their heart, almost never comes into streams anymore. And when they do, it's only for a few moments. But Kit James named Reflection Pool, which I also never play anymore because they're not in the stream. So I actually just messed it up. You know, I'm not gonna wait for Kid James to be in the stream for me to play Reflection Pool anymore. Unfortunately, because Kid James doesn't come in often enough. And just now when I was playing it, I messed up several times, and it's a very easy song, which means I'm forgetting it. So I'm gonna just start playing that again in this stream. Um, Also, I might have to just start playing Jumpin' Jaybird in the stream too, in Maddie's absence, because if I stop playing songs, if I attribute a song to somebody that's very rarely in the stream, I will forget the song. Liana's in the stream all the time, so I haven't yet had the chance to forget. Double Lutz. I assume just working. Darn. Unless there's something I don't know. You haven't played that on my watch in a while, says Star. Yeah, I don't really play that as much anymore. That's a very okay and okay. So on last Saturday, I was out and like that just that melody isolated, right? Without anything around it, like with silence before it and silence after it, is a very common melody line because I heard it in two songs, two completely different songs in two different genres while I was out, and I even have two songs that have that technically have that melody in them. I mean, the melody ends up going somewhere else, changing, right? Because not on my watches. Wait, there it is. And then the other song I have that has that is that Bossifier song. The now I can't remember how to play my own song. It's I haven't had to play it live in so long since I recorded it actually, but it's good for me to know this. think that's that song. I think that's that song. But that is very similar to one's way more simple than the other one. The rhythm is slightly different, but the notes of it's very much the same. Mm. Oh, so I just need to talk about Kit for Kit to come to the stream. Noted. Yeah, I'll play it. I'll play it. I'll play it, Dar. What are they doing construction on specifically? Kit? Was something broken? Curtis says, which is the song that sounds similar to Not on My Watch? Uh, the one that I was just playing that have similar melodies in the beginning. That song's unreleased. Curtis. Good morning, Leon. Hmm. Goodness gracious, good. I like Leon. Mathea? Mathea? How do you pronounce that? Ooh, what's that? My wrist started to hurt halfway through that. There it is. Mathia. Ugh. Oh, my arms hurt for some reason. You ever do squats and your arms hurt for some reason? Was I doing them wrong? My arms hurt. Anywho, let's go through some Signals tracks. This song's called Signals. Yes, Moth, I did make sugar glider. I made that many a year ago. I'm falling in love with this new timing of love letters. It's not as easy to play, but arguably more fun and more interesting. Where was the wait, hold on. My YouTube on PC set to 2 times speed. Oh crap. You know what's weird about playing songs fast? Cyber. Sometimes I'll look at myself. Sometimes, very rarely, do I look at myself play. Because even when I'm looking at myself play, like in my monitor, for example, I'm not really looking at myself play. I'm kind of looking at the chat, and then I'm playing in like my peripheral, and even then I'm playing at the time, so it's not quite the same thing. Sitting and looking at myself without playing, just looking at a video of myself playing piano is interesting. Thank you, Ma. Thank you. It's interesting because if I'm not paying close attention to my own playing, I kind of look like I know what I'm doing. Like I look like a good piano player. It might sound like I'm making a joke, but I'm not. When I look at myself play piano, when I'm not playing piano, like if I'm just sitting on the couch looking at myself play piano on a phone, and I'm doing one of those, I'm like, oh, that like looks good. That like looks that he looks like he's a piano player. When I'm sitting at the piano, I kind of feel like I feel like I'm kind of just like goofing off, and I've heard these songs like a million times, so it's impossible for me to like hear them slash see them being performed. Like it's hard to have that type of perspective. But then I look at it from the outside, it's like, oh, okay, like I kind of get it. I don't know if any other. No, I'm pretty sure other artists have that. You guys have that? Do you ever like look at yourself draw something? Maybe you look back at one of your own streams of yourself drawing something, and you're like, hey, that was pretty good. That piece of paper was blank in the beginning, and now I have something there. It's a really weird thing. Louis says piano is the best party trick since even scales make you look like you know what you're doing. LOL. Yeah, I think that's a thing. I think that might be a thing too. If I'm playing, um, if I'm playing, well, I don't really know scales, but if I was playing this song, like if I were just playing that song, to me, I played this song so many times that it's almost, I'm not gonna say it's boring, but it is very like rote muscle memory. Like I'm not really thinking about a lot of the chords while I'm hitting them. But if I were to watch myself play that song, it does. There's just so many notes and there's so much motion happening that it's like, oh, this person's pretty good at piano. And I think that that doesn't necessarily come from me being unimpressed with piano players, but I think that typically when you're doing something, you're just unable to observe it, because you're busy doing the thing, or you're mentally are occupied. And yeah, sometimes I'll look at myself play piano and I'm like, I have improved. It's just really hard for me to see my own improvement when I'm me. Liana says, I don't know, my brother just got a weighted keyboard. He doesn't look like a piano player yet. He's taking some lessons. Well, good for your brother. And also, that's dope that he got a weighted keyboard. Uh, Weighted keyboards are truly the best things. Kiwi says, that's how I feel when my mom says, go back to college and asks if I'm done with phase and then go, oh. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, Kiwi. Mm. I don't know. I don't know what a real artist is. Wait, I had this conversation yesterday. What was the real artists? Oh, I did have that conversation. Unfortunately, that is a conversation I cannot have in this stream. But I did have a really interesting conversation about artists and quote unquote real ones. I think making your own songs also helps you since you can't be wrong in your play and you know it by heart. Okay, so that's another huge thing. That's not even necessarily have to do with having to do with looking or sounding impressive, but playing your own music is a intrinsically different um, process or activity than playing somebody else's music. Because when you're playing your own music, or when I sit down in the stream and I'm just kind of like messing around, expressing myself, being wrong is so much broader of a being right is a way bigger target, right? Because there's lots of times where I'll make mistakes, quote unquote mistakes, that open up different chords for the song, and then I'll end up going someplace else. A good example of this is the this one. The mistake was I did this, and I was like, that's not good. That's off, but that chord is cool. So instead I went, and I was like, well, that's off, but if I play that chord, that's cool. So I went. I mean, it sounds fun. I don't know how to get back to the beginning, and so I ended up filling in some extra chords to get back to the beginning. But this chord here was a mistake. Like if you were listening to this progression, it definitely sounds off. So that's why I went. And then got back to it. But when you're playing somebody else's music, you're not really given, or you don't really have the freedom and opportunity to make mistakes that add to the song because this is already a song that exists. You're not going to add to the composition. You can edit the composition for yourself. You have a version of this, but you can't really change the song. The song is done, which is why you're learning it. You're learning a finished piece of music, and so since I play a lot of my own music a lot of the time, which can be interpreted and performed in so many different ways by me, it definitely makes playing piano a very different experience because a lot of the time I'm not paying a lot of attention to what I'm hitting. There's been people that come to the streams like Crow that will, hey, what's up, Eddie? There's been people that will come into the stream like Crow who will become either attached to or fond of a very specific rendition of one of my songs. But since in the stream I'm constantly moving things around and rearranging songs live, sometimes it's hard to play the same version twice. Sometimes this is a good thing. Like for me, it keeps me from getting bored. But for other people that have, fallen particularly in love with or fond of one of the versions, it can be frustrating for both parties because it's like I don't know how to get back to that version, and they don't know how to explain to me what it was that I did. And so, as somebody who only plays their own music, really, like I'll play the birthday song like if somebody had a birthday in the stream, but even when I'm playing the happy birthday song, all these chords that I'm putting under, those are not the chords to the birthday song. Those aren't the chords of the birthday song. I don't even know if the birthday song has official chords. I don't know. But I don't like playing melodies without any chords underneath them, so I usually just contextualize the birthday song to be that. I don't know. Anyways, point is, I really don't play other people's music that often, so the opportunity to be wrong or incorrect doesn't arise as often for me. I think, like I talked about earlier, when improving, I'm not even really particularly trying to stay in a specific key. Um, I'm just pulling out of like a bag of chords, like a bag, my vocabulary of chords, because I've never counted them, but I know quite a few chords. I know quite a few like offhand chords. I know a lot of chords, and so sometimes when I'm just improvising, I'll just be pulling chords out of that bag to throw together, which is how this chord progression came about. We talked about that in yesterday's stream. Because this is a chord progression I already had. But to make it more interesting, I tacked a fifth chord on the end. And then I tacked a sixth chord on the end of that fifth chord. Yeah, and so I think of it as like a chord vocabulary. So earlier when Umbe says piano, I think it was Umbe that said piano can kind of be a cool party trick because you can kind of just play scales and people will be impressed. I can't necessarily do that, but I can play chords. So if there was well, first of all, if there's a party and there's a piano at it, I'm definitely not playing it. At least not where anybody can hear me. But if there was some situation where I needed to impress somebody, I guess at piano, I think I would probably play chords. I would probably lean more towards chords because that's what I have a vocabulary of. I don't necessarily have a vocabulary of melody or keys or even possibly techniques, but chords I do know. So a lot of times when I sit down at a piano, what I'll usually do, especially if it's like a real piano, like an acoustic piano, I'll kind of sit down at the piano and then I'll play like a chord and I'll just kind of start filling out random chords and see how many I can get out in the very beginning. You play through a lot and then I'll kind of, once I feel like I figured out the key. Another reason that I do that when I'm sitting down at a piano, a newer piano, especially an acoustic one, is because if you're at a piano and you don't really know the history of it, the history of the piano, um, if you don't know the history of the piano could be out of tune, and instead of being like, because there's a way to tell if the piano's out of tune, you just like go up and you hit every single note. But sometimes hearing a note by itself out of tune, I can't recognize it being detuned or out of tune. But I can recognize it if I played in harmony with a lot of other notes. So what I'll usually do if I'm sitting out down at a piano that I don't quite recognize and don't know if it's in key or not, I'll run through a very very quick signals melody. And why I run through a signals melody is because if I do the signals medley, signals again being my EP that has like love letters and Union Station and 70 to Downtown and Winter Heart. The reason that I do those is because out of those songs, even if I only do Winter Heart hits every single note. Like those notes. I could explain or go through it step by step and show how it hits all of those notes, but I don't need to. Just know it hits all of those notes. It's not in a specific key for a lot of it, and even whatever key it is perceived to be in, it breaks out of those to hit random other notes and chords. So all of the white keys are covered. And then you'll see I even start using some of the black keys here. I don't know how well you can see my hand, but into the black keys, white keys, black keys, white keys, black keys, white keys, black keys, white keys, white keys, white keys, all the black keys, white keys, some of the black keys, the rest of the black keys. Anyways, the point is, if I play through a quick medley of signals, or even just the intro of Winter Heart on that new piano, I'll very quickly be able to identify what notes, if there are more than one, are out of key. And then once I figure out which notes are out of key, I'll go, okay, what songs do I have, or what tools do I have that I can play and not hit that note? And then I'll like kind of rifle through like my playlist of improvisation tools. And sometimes, particularly if that note is this note, that note, if one of those is out of key, it's going to be a very, very rough time for me because a lot of my songs happen to use that note. Yeah, well, quite a few of my songs. My more interesting ones, anyway, I can say. Okay, Eddie says, now I have a story idea with chords and souls. That's a good premise for an interesting story, says Eddie. Oh, what? Sorry, you were on a whole tangent. Sorry, I only read the very end of it. Omni collects chords with Pokemon cards. Cyber says bad booby. Birthday song. These pants are weird. Sorry, I have a pair of Uniqlo pants. They're like sweatpants and they're so weird. The waistband. Anyways, for each soul he steals, a new chord is created. Why do I have to steal souls? God, that's awful. Why does it have to be souls? Quit that, Kiwi. Stop. You're encouraging them. And these are chords and souls. All the chords I get are either... I would say I get chords by hearing them, or by mistakenly hitting them trying to hit a different chord. This was a mistake, and that I love hitting that chord, but this was supposed to be this, which sounds horrible now. Oh, I'm hitting it wrong. This became this because my finger slipped. Also, this was a result of a finger slip. That was a result of a finger slip. This was the result of a finger slip. And that was also. That's in the newer song. So it goes. And then. This was a finger slip. It was supposed to go. Between that and this. pretty chord. This is like a weird lopsided chord, but I like the lopsided sound going from this. Instead of okay. It was very gloomy this morning, guys, but the sun came and burned all the clouds away, so it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a warm one today. But it is Tuesday, which means Pizza Nista Tuesdays, $2 slices. I'm getting pizza today. Eddie says, what are the comments made about your music that you hate the most? I don't do superlatives, but let's explore that idea. I'm gonna throw some makeup on that question. So, oh, okay. You put your own makeup on, Eddie. Wow. Oh, okay. So Eddie asks a question I can't answer, and then follows it up by cleaning up that question and making it actually an interesting question for me. Some of your pet peeves when it comes to talking about your work. Well, I've made a lot of music, Eddie, and it's been a while, right? It's not a long time, not a very long time. In the grand scheme of things in music, I've just released a lot, but I haven't been releasing for a long time. There's been people that have been releasing music for like 20 years, right? This is not me. But I've released arguably 20 years worth of music in a shorter amount of time. And so it has made the older stuff feel that much older, and the newer stuff feel that much more urgent and imperative and important. So I would say a a pet peeve. That's rough. I don't, but that's the best way to word this, I guess. Something that I don't feel quite good at. I'm throwing even more makeup on it. Something I don't quite feel good about discussing with my music sometimes is when the music's very old. I feel like sometimes people will um, get maybe hung up on an old piece of work. And I definitely understand the music doesn't all sound the same. So maybe you're somebody that just really likes super happy, bubbly music, and so you get stuck on something else. Or maybe you're somebody that likes like lo-fi hip hop, and so you get stuck on one of my releases. Stuck on being like kind of like a negative term, but I mean it in a positive way here. Like that's what you related with. Sometimes it's hard for me to revisit those things with people. Like when I hear Nice Dream and when I hear Bon Bon and Sugar Glider and Jolly Pop and stuff like that, I'm able to appreciate the work that I put into them. But as far as relating to them, I can't relate to those songs at all anymore. And so sometimes when somebody says, for example, somebody will say like, "Oh, the best thing you've ever done is insert track that came out, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago," and then they'll like want to talk about it. I can go there, but sometimes it feels foreign almost, even to talk about the track because it doesn't feel like something that came out of me. It feels like something that came out of somebody I used to be, if that makes sense. And so sometimes that can be hard, Eddie. Sometimes that can be difficult. I don't know that it's a pet peeve, but I just don't feel genuine talking about it. Those pieces of music, if that makes sense. Um, because I'm just not that person anymore. So I feel like, for example, if somebody really liked the song, somebody really liked the song Bubble Bee. If somebody really liked the song Bumblebee and they're like, I love Bumblebee Omni, that song's great. Let's talk about Bumblebee, shall we? I feel like if they would have said this to me in 2016, 17, I would have been like, yeah, okay, so this, and I would have had some excitement, some passion, and uh, excitement is the best word that I can come up with right now. Like I would have some excitement, some like vigor talking about this song that was very close to me. But the time has made that song kind of grow distant from like my heart and my intentions and my motives now. So when somebody talks about that really old music, I'm very flattered that they like it, and I'll even try to play it for them. But I feel almost like I'm doing them like a disservice by not being as excited about or into it or relating to that song. Um, it just feels separate. Cyber says, "What are my motives now?" That's rough, right? I feel like 2020 has killed a lot of like my motives as far as like artistic direction. That I'm just like, this is what I identify with right now. It's kind of all over the place, and so I don't know what that is right now. But I would say, again, pet peeve is a really strong word, but I feel sad for them almost. It's not the same exact feeling, but there have been times where somebody's like, what is where somebody gets like really excited for a track, or when somebody's going to stream a track, they're like, "Yo, I want to support you," so I've been streaming this thing night and day, but it happens to be a track that I don't own the copyright to anymore. It's something I made, but I just don't own the rights to it, so it's like it's rough because you're really really flattered and you're appreciative of this person, but you can't be as genuinely happy as you wish you could, and so I would say that that is a difficult thing, Eddie. I don't know that I'd call it a pet peeve, but a very difficult thing is when people reference or celebrate music that I've made that I just no longer as an artist feel close to or even sometimes responsible for. And the really extreme cases, I can feel not even responsible for it. Like somebody might come and they'll be like, I really love like two-tone disco music, and even though I made all that music, I don't really have any passion for that music, and so sometimes I don't feel responsible for it on like an emotional level. I'm responsible for it physically and mentally, like I made it, but some of those songs, if I'm being completely honest, even when I made them, I didn't love them. I was like, it was almost like I was feeding a meter. I was just doing the work that was required of me. Do you regret giving up all the tracks that you have, or are some acceptable losses? Do you regret giving up all of the tracks? When you say giving up, do you mean like, what do you mean? Do you mean like if I like sold my rights for the track over to somebody else? Is that what you mean? Um, or do you mean like giving up? Yeah, selling the rights. Oh, okay. That's also a good question. Um, Umbe's saying, do you regret giving up the? Well, I didn't ever give them up. I sold them. I try to be very careful about using the term give because give implies that things were free. So I sold the rights to several of my tracks. Some of the tracks that I've sold the rights to, um, Venomade is a track that I've sold the rights to. The View is a track that I've sold the rights to. There's a few others. There's a few others. However, some of the rights I've recently gotten back. For example, this is actually a good question. Umbe, I don't know if you've come into the production stream. Pretty sure you have. But if you're in the production stream, there's a song that plays on loop before I start the stream. It's kind of like the hold music. It plays, when I go to the bathroom, it plays before the stream starts. It's called Twinkle Brown Sugar. And that song, I did not have the rights for. I sold the. This is embarrassing, but I sold the rights to that song for $150, which maybe to some of you that don't exactly know how copyright works might sound like, hey, you got $150 for a track. That's dope. No, it's not dope. That is hilariously cheap. I sold the rights to that song because one, I was just ignorant. I was younger, and that's it. I just didn't know any better, and rent was due, and I needed money, so I sold the rights to that song. And the LLC that I sold the rights to that song to just died. Like that company died. So I recently got the rights back. Like I got the rights back for that song like May of this year. And I was just kind of like, oh, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it now, but that's cool, I guess. So, yeah. Good question, though. I didn't even answer the question yet, sorry. Umbe says, do you regret giving up all those tracks, or are some acceptable losses? Um, I don't regret any of them because they're all doing okay. Venomate's doing particularly well, and sometimes that can be hard to see. Sometimes it can be hard to see like a poor decision you've made professionally kind of haunt you, but I consider that an acceptable loss because it was a lesson. Maybe I'm moving the goalposts a little bit here, but I do think that everybody needs to get, for lack of a better or nicer term, screwed over a little bit. Like you kind of need to get taken advantage of a few times in order to like figure out how to navigate. You know, especially if you don't have a manager, and who does when they're in the beginning? Who does? So I consider those like worthwhile lessons. You know, and I won't be doing anything like that again. At least not without proper compensation or being a thing that I've decided. For example, the tracks that are being played on the Discord, chill like lo-fi stream or whatever. Those tracks, I did sell the rights to those tracks to Discord. However, I went into that agreement knowing exactly what was going to happen, and that informed some of the decisions and prices I was putting on things. Whereas back in Venomade or Twinkle Brown Sugar during those days, I had no idea how copyright worked, so I was just trying to release music, So, yeah, good question. I would say the second. They're acceptable losses, especially once you know what you're doing. Okay. Hey, what's good, Doodle? Giggle Doodle? Giggle Doodle Doodle? Jesus. That's a lot. I'm gonna say Giggle. I'm gonna call you Giggle. Um. I like your two-tone disco joke, Cyber. I like this joke. Not the two-tone joke. Not want to bring that subject back, but the last Joe Budden podcast episode made me think about money and how I should sell my art a lot. Oh, I didn't listen to it or watch it yet. I usually watch it on YouTube. But yeah, I haven't listened to it yet, so I guess no spoilers for me if such a thing exists. If you can spoil a podcast for somebody. But yeah, there have been a lot of times where I have lost money. And when I say a lot, guys, you have no idea what I mean by a lot. I don't even mean like 50 times. Like years of losing tons and tons of money. Partially because people were actively stealing from me. Partially because I was just stupid and didn't know that certain things could be monetized, right? Like I was investing 100% into SoundCloud, for example, instead of Spotify or other DSPs that actually have worthwhile payouts. Well, worthwhile in quotes right now, but I'll say better than SoundCloud. There is a lot of ignorance and there is a lot of maliciousness that happened that caused me to lose a lot of money. And these were lessons, and I think these happen to everybody. And you can't regret those things because you don't know any better. But once you know better and you still make a mistake, then I think it's okay to start regretting some stuff and maybe asking yourself some very important questions about where exactly you're trying to get and what you want to do. Salmon says, good morning. Good morning, Salmon. Did you just comment on an Instagram story of mine? I think I saw it pop up on my Instagram. It's really interesting seeing people like comment on Instagram and it'll show up on my phone, but then I see them come into the YouTube stream, which is on my laptop. Oh crap! Wait, hold on. What happened? Is Cyber crawling through my? Oh yeah, Cyber found Twinkle Brown Sugar. Dang, that's a 3-year-old tweet. That's a 3-year-old tweet, baby. Yeah, that was very briefly after it came out. Little promotion video. No spoilers, says Eddie. I think we just talked about the Spotify deal, and it was really interesting. Yeah, this question might fringe on private stuff. So I guess I'll parse this with caution. Hello, biscuits. Let's say biscuits. I hope that's how I pronounce that. Hello, biscuits. Um, The Discord one, not specifically those songs. What's the ballpark price to sell them for? Ooh, this is rough. This is a rough question, Umbe, because hold on, let me get to the bottom of Samen's thing before I answer, because your thing is gonna take a couple of seconds. The song you made in the story on SoundCloud was good. I was wondering if you would continue it. Saman, do you usually finish your songs? Saman, that is a song that I've been working on in the production stream, Saman. So every Friday I have a production stream that lasts roughly 6 hours, and that's one of the songs I was making in it. And you're asking, do you usually finish your songs? And that's a rough question because I want to say yes, but the fact that I have hundreds of projects on FL Studio might be more proof to the opposite of that. Yeah, I don't know. I finished the songs I want to finish. I know that sounds like a really finicky and diplomatic answer, but that's the best answer I can give you right now. I finished songs. Some songs I don't like, so I don't bother finishing them. You know, it's got to keep my attention and love the whole way through. But for that song, which is called tentatively right now Dropout, I do like that song. So yeah, probably gonna finish that one. Okay, back to your question, Umbe, talking about how much, what is the price to sell them for? So, Umbe, I don't know if you're asking this because you're a musician that wants to start selling music, or if you're just asking this out of curiosity. So I'm going to answer this question as if you're both, as if I'm talking to two people. One person being a layperson who doesn't care about music and just wants to know, and the other person being somebody who wants to know and forming their own career path. Umbe, there is no price of a song. A lot of things actually go into that process that make things different. For example, and this is why I love Ivy and Sarasi, because Sarasi's my rock. He's my big tall baby man. But both of them, if you don't know who Ivy and Sarasu are, they're composers for like TV and video games and stuff like that. They make the soundtrack for Steven Universe, for example. They posted talking about how to charge for music. And now them being composers, it changes a little bit, right? Because since they're writing mostly for TV and for video games, the price for TV and the price for video games is vastly different. They're not charging by song, they're charging by minute. Like by minute of music. Like if you're scoring a TV show or if you're scoring a game, a lot of times people are charging by minute of music. Obviously, if you're selling a hip hop beat to a rapper, very different conversation. You're not charging per minute, you're charging per beat. For me, a lot of the times when I'm doing things like for example, for the Discord thing, I made 3, 4 songs for them. But if you're thinking about something like Attack the Music, when I make a song for them, it's different because it's just one song. It's not like a bundle of songs. So many things go into this conversation, so it's really hard to answer. So without talking about specific things, I will say that I have made a song for something and gotten $150 from it. I'm not going to say what song this is because it would be really easy for you or somebody else from the stream to like quickly research and figure out who exactly paid me $150. So I'm not trying to throw anybody's name under the bus, but I have made a song and gotten paid $150 for it, Umbe, and I've also made a song and gotten paid $2,000 for it. And it was because one song, the $150 song, was me making a song on SoundCloud for a SoundCloud collective that just wanted to put out like a compilation. It wasn't going up on any other DSPs. It was just that, right? And the song that I got paid a little bit over $2,000 for was because that was for a music spot. That was for a publishing house, right? And so it changes a lot. And I've also made songs for free, right? I've also made songs like for a homie. Maybe we were collaborating, and that would, nobody paid anybody. It it really it really changes depending on the conversation, Umbe, and depending on what the song is for, who you're selling it to, how much work is being put into it. I personally am not going to charge the same for a lo-fi hip hop song as I am for an orchestral score with like woodwinds and arrangements and stuff like that that's going to be scored to animation. I am not charging the same for those things. The lo-fi hip hop one is obviously going to be way less money in my pocket than the more full-on score thing. So that's such a good question, and I wish I had an easier answer, which is like one song costs $300. Yeah, I wish I had a more concise and comprehensive answer to that. that question, but it really does depend on the conversation. There's so many more things. Like if you look through a contract, Umbe, there's like splits, for example. Umbe, there's splits. So if I'm, and this is completely hypothetical, this is not the way this conversation or this deal went, but if I'm making a song with Mia Gladstone, say we're making Not on My Watch, right? And Mia Gladstone wants to be the vocalist for that song, or I want Mia to be the vocalist for that song. Mia's like, okay, I'll do the vocals on top of it. Do, are we doing splits? Or Mia might say up front, I only do vocals with splits. And I'm like, oh, okay, we'll do splits. So Mia might do the initial song for very very cheap, or even for free if splits are being given. And splits are just royalties, right? Wow, this turned into a way longer conversation. I hope you're still listening, Umbe. So splits are royalties. Basically, if me and Mia make a song together and we release that song out to the world, and anything that happens to the publishing of that song or anything that happens to the master of that song, ignore these terms if they don't make sense. Just ignore them because I'll explain them in a way that will make sense. If anything happens to this song, right, this song gets put in an iTunes commercial, and Apple Music is like, okay, we will pay $5,000 for this song to get put in an iTunes commercial, and me and Mia agreed to splits, 50-50 splits, then, and what did I say, Apple gives us $3,000, then I get $1,500 and she gets $1,500. And every single time that song makes money, whether it makes 25 cents or it makes $25 million, it's being split down the middle. One half goes to me and one half goes to Mia. And so if you are a collaborator or somebody that's writing music, usually you want splits or royalties because you want, if that music gets used for anything, you would like to get paid for your work for having made it. What'll happen a lot of the time, bigger companies, or even smaller people now that they know how to do that, bigger companies will not offer you splits because they don't really want to deal with you down the line. They don't want to still be sending you checks in the year 2037. So what they'll do is they'll offer you a big lump sum up front. They'll say, hey, write this song for us, and we will give you 10 grand, right? And hypothetical, you, either the ignorant and inexperienced musician or the experienced and knowledgeable musician might go, that's a lot of money. All right, give me that 10 grand. I'll write the song, and then you give the song to them. And then the song goes on to either make or not make tons of money over years, years of time. And maybe the song ends up making $50,000, but you don't see any of that 50,000 because you got paid your 10,000 years ago. So it becomes this really weird, wishy-washy, like there is no actual worth of a song. Like the song doesn't have a price on it. It depends on so many outside factors, and one of the biggest factors of that is royalties. So for example, the Discord stream, if you go on YouTube and you listen to that Discord stream, none of that money that is being collected from that YouTube video is going to me. That's just not the type of contract that I signed. I did get paid a lot for those songs up front though, but none of those royalties are going to me. A lot of larger companies are not going to give you royalties. That's not even like on the table. Like we're not even talking about it. Like it's not on the table. In the same way as if I was a part of a writer's camp and I wasn't particularly business savvy, and maybe I wrote like a lead line or a chord progression or whatever on like a Rihanna track. A lot of times those bigger labels will just give me a huge payout in the very, like up front in the very beginning. But as that song goes on to be played in Target and Walmart and Forever 21, I'm not getting a dime from any of those plays because I got kind of paid out of the deal up front. This is a lot of stupid music business jargon. I'm really not trying to bore anybody in the stream, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to pull out now. But I hope that answers your question, Umbe. In conclusion, there just really is no set price and how much I'm selling a track for. There's so many other questions and details that go into what price I'm putting on a song. Whether I'm putting that price as $5,000 for this track or I'm putting it as absolutely free. It's a weird conversation that a lot of people actually don't like to have. Sama says, I was just imagining your computer full of unfinished songs and thought it's an epic thing. Oh, that's really sweet, Simon. No, it didn't sound rude at all. I understood where you were coming from. Sometimes people will hear like a 20-second thing, like an idea on an Instagram story, and then they'll never hear it again from me. And they're like, hey, Omni, whatever happened to that one song? And I'm like, what song? And so I totally understand you saying that. But if you ever come into the Friday streams, I dig through all of those things. And actually, the Friday stream has helped me stay current on all of my works in progress. So I'm not like losing whips, or at least not at the rate I typically do. Whew. Okay. Um, Umbe says, so I guess for the most part, it's all gray area. But if you can get royalties, you should opt for that over a lump sum. The music business is extremely messy, says Eddie. Okay, so Umbe, again, I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to pull out of this nosedive of a conversation, Umbe. But you bring up a very valid point that you should probably try to opt to get royalties over the lump sum. However, there are, almost like playing the stock market, there are times in which you should opt for the lump sum. Sometimes you have to look at the thing that you're making the thing for. Like if I'm making music for like a new tech startup company and I don't particularly have a lot of faith in this startup company, I don't think it's going to go anywhere, maybe I ask for a lump sum, you know? Maybe I work like a freelance, you know, and I just want to get my money and get the heck out of there. But if maybe you're selling your music to something that you think might take off, um, it might be a good idea to like get royalties in on that. I have a friend who, unfortunately, I can't name in the stream, but he is a mostly a trap producer. Although lately, I feel like he's making like poppy stuff. Let's just call him a trap producer for this sake of this conversation. He's a trap producer. Hello, Crow, and he makes music for a lot of different rappers. There was a particular artist who he was making music for, who is now significantly bigger, but doesn't matter. He made a good call, which is where they were trying to pay him a lump sum, and he opted to do it for free, but just get this much royalties. And I think the royalties that he got was only like 15% of that track. This person was actually an industry plant, and they ended up getting pretty big. So he's making enough money from that song, almost just from that one song, to pay rent. And he's not like super notable or anything. He's just kind of coasting off of that track, and it's boded well for him. However, I have had examples of the exact opposite, where I have worked with somebody that was also a budding industry plant, and I did some work for them. But I took a lump sum payment, and for whatever reason, their career didn't end up like boosting like it should have, could have, would have. And I was a lot happier that I had taken the lump sum instead of gone with royalties, which right now would have been paying out, I don't know, $10 a month. Just something to think about. Umbe, at the end of the day, I would say royalties beat lump sum, especially for somebody that doesn't need the money right now. But you also have to think about the thing that you're making music for. Is this something that is going to make a lot of money later? Are you investing in the future, or are you sinking your money into a hole? Eddie is right, though. The music industry is messy. You can't say the artist says Eddie. No, I can't. I try to be really careful, Eddie. I've said this several times in the stream. I try to be careful about specific people that I'm naming, especially when I'm talking about anecdotes that can shine poorly on them, because I realize that this is a public video, and if anybody takes something I've said out of context, or even sometimes within context, and then relays it, puts it on Twitter or something like that, it turns this stream into like a gossip stream, which isn't what this is. So I feel okay saying these things without naming specific people most of the time. Yeah, I just don't want it to. I don't want it to become that. And I feel like the names also, Eddie. I feel like a lot of times for the points I'm trying to make, the names aren't actually that important. What is important is the anecdote, like what actually happened. And so I don't really need to always get into it. Investments. Thanks for the breakdown. I'm sure it'll come in useful in my future. I'm sure it will. Umbe. Yeah, always think about that. Also, Umbe, another thing, and then I promise this is going to be the door to close this. Clout and power gives you the opportunity to change the conversation. There is a company, who again, I will not name right now, but I have sold them 3 songs. The first song I sold them, sorry, the first song I gave them was for free. The second time they came to me, I did charge them $250, and the third time that they came to me, I charged them $1,500 and royalties. And the only reason I was able to charge more during the third time is because I was significantly more successful and larger as an artist than I was when they dealt with me in 2014. And so when you're going into talks with a label or another artist or a management company or a booking agency, anything, a publishing house, if you're going into those conversations, having leverage in those talks is everything. So maybe you go to a company, they say, we'll pay you $500 up front, and you say, no, I want splits. They can just say, okay, bye. We're going to find somebody that's willing to do it for $500. Sometimes having leverage is the only thing that gives you bargaining power, and that's not even just in the music industry. That's honestly just life. That's just in life, I guess. Because yeah, there have been times where I really wanted to do something, but I just wasn't. Right now, I'm pretty small compared to the way I used to be. I'm like Michael Jackson right now. But as far as like the grand scheme of the music industry, like I've done stuff for like Universal Music Group, and they were like, so here's, it wasn't even a conversation. They were just like, so here's what you can have. Here's what we're willing to give you. Take it or leave it. And I was like, take it, I guess. I mean, this isn't really a conversation. I read over, the contract, and I did end up signing. And it actually ended up leading to some pretty cool things. But even right now, there's a contract right now sitting in my email that I'm actually going to get to after this stream. But there's a contract sitting in my email from like some people in Japan, but like I'm like looking at it, and it is, but the way they're talking to me, I have way more power in this negotiation, so I can like talk to them. There can be a conversation here where I'm like, actually no, I'm gonna need that. Like you usually can like sense the energy in the room, even if there is no room, even if it's through email. You can kind of like sense the energy of like, okay, these people seem to respect me. These people came to me. These people know my reputation versus like somebody that's throwing you some crumbs. And I mean, we all got to eat crumbs before we can eat a sandwich, right? Yeah. That's what's funny too. What's so funny, Cyber, is it's just rent. Like I think of music as rent juice. I think of music as rent juice. Who the heck? Um, Man, my neighbors have such a different life than I do. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think of music as rent juice. Like obviously living in LA, my rent's pretty high, and so like sometimes people will be like, "Oh my god, like Omni, you gotta pay like $1,500 for this song. That's so cool." And I'm like, that money's already gone. That money is that was like that money's gone. That's not even mine. That's my landlord's money. That's going straight from like Universal Music Group into my landlord's pocket, and then I don't know. I get to spend some. I get to spend like money I make in the stream on like wide angle wide angle webcams. Which, by the way, thank you, stream. Those webcams are dope. So I have thoroughly enjoyed the fruits of the morning medley. Crow says it. If it's from Japan, probably they'll force you to stick with nice dream album type songs. They will not, actually, Crow. This is not the first time I worked. This is not my first time I worked with Japan. I've made 4 things for Japan, and one of them was a trap beat. So, and by the way, when I say for Japan, we all know that I'm talking about for different companies, right? Like it's not like the country is commissioning me. But no, they don't hire me necessarily for nice dream type songs. Especially this guy. I love this dude. I love this dude so much. He's great. He's the manager of another artist, but he like he's a good dude. He's a good dude. Sorry, let me get back on track. Umbe says so all this information feels particularly comforting if that does happen. Word up, Umbe. Liana says, clearly we need to throw some more. No, it's okay, Liana. Thank you so much, though. Liana's good people. So cyber. Roa Emperor needs a new theme song. Oh, I would love that. That would be the most egregious and disgusting thing for Japan for themselves to do. Like hire some foreign like loser in an apartment in LA to like write the theme for like the emperor. But ooh, oh, I love that. Oh, oh, I would love it so much. I would love to be able to just write one of the jingles that plays at a subway stop. Anyways, Ami was hired to write the new national anthem of Japan. There's a big jazz scene in Japan. I can see Ami getting a ton of work from that. Says Umbe. The thing is, here's my weird thing with the Japan scene. And I feel okay saying this. I gotta close my blinds. I feel, how is he doing that? I feel okay saying this. All of the people I know in Japan, you know who I know in Japan? I know everybody in Japan, okay? You know who I know in Japan? I know a few people. Yeah, there's a Gundam outside. It's wild out there. He's going bonkers. He's going cuckoo bananas. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I know a lot of artists in Japan, specifically from a certain like button. Cyber knows this button, Liana knows this button. It's like the Tamagugugus, the In the Blue Shirts, the car painters, the Dede Mouses, the Tofu Beats. Those people, like those are my friends in Japan. Now, all of those people, with the exception of Tofu Beats actually, Ujiko, most of these people have gone to like school for music. They're all like classically trained music people. They know music on like a level. They can read it, they can write it, they can play it. They're good. Whenever I go to Japan or deal with or talk to a lot of my artist friends in Japan, I'm never quite sure how they see me. If I come off as some like music bum who doesn't know anything about proper music, I don't really know how I come off there. So the jazz scene in Japan is chill, but I don't know if I'm good enough to be a part of that. I don't know. I would need to spend more time in and around Japanese musicians, honestly. Because even though I know several and we're like cool, I don't actually know how the industry within Japan works. The music industry. I only know it as much as a touring musician can, you know. Tokyo's Main Street is equal to Times Square, New York, says Crow. There's a lot of scrap metal. What? Tokyo's Main Street is equal to Times Square, New York. What are you... Crow. Crow, when you say Main Street, what are you talking about? Are you talking about like the Shibuya Scramble? Like the Shibuya like square with like the six-way cross? Or are you talking about like Shinjuku? Are you talking about Harajuku, or you're talking about the Shibuya Square? Tokyo's Main Street is equal to Times Square, New York. Okay. I could say something, but I won't. I'm just gonna agree with you and say yes. But yes. Yes, it is equal to Times Square in New York in that it is a tourist trap. But I would say that's... And then there's screens. But I would say that's where the similarities end. I don't know. I don't know. There's a Starbucks, but really everywhere has one of those. I would say that those two things are very different. Me as somebody who likes, who enjoys Shibuya, but doesn't really like walking around Times Square. I like the Line store, which is in Times Square, but I don't know that I like Times Square. That city never sleeps, says Crow. For the record, I have no idea what Crow's talking about. Crow's talking about a pretty popular place in Tokyo, but I would not. Here's the thing. I would not say that it's equal, but I would say that they are comparable. Which I'm splitting hairs here, but it's almost like saying New York and LA are the same, and it's like no, they're very different. But it's like oh, I get it. Like big city, lots of culture, lots of like a melting pot of cultures and foods. A lot of pollution, kind of dirty, major city. So it's like New York, Los Angeles, Tokyo, Paris. It's like saying the Champs Elysees is equivalent to Times Square, and it's like, is it really? No, but does it have a lot of tourists and a Starbucks? Yes. So yeah, they're kind of the same thing, I guess. Nobody goes to the Champs Elysees. Nobody goes to the Champs Elysees. Nobody goes to Times Square either, Eddie. Nobody also goes to Hollywood Boulevard. People do go to Shibuya though. So I don't know. It's mostly tourists, but people do just straight up like live and work there. So, you bring up a pretty good point, Eddie. I would argue nobody goes to tourist attractions. It's like saying like nobody goes to the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, like nobody goes there. But if you go there, there's gonna be a ton of people there. But nobody goes there. You know what I mean? Eddie knows what I mean. Crow knows what getting at. Cyber knows what I'm talking about. Kiwi gets it. I feel like people just go through Times Square because it's there. No, says Eddie. I feel like, but I feel like people go through Times Square because it's there. I feel like people actually avoid it. People that I know that live there will actually go out of their way to go around Times Square to avoid going through Times Square. But if you go to Times Square, there are a lot of people there. In the same way that if you go to Hollywood Boulevard in LA, there's a lot of people there. But I and a lot of people I know that live here avoid it like the plague. Nobody should go anywhere, says Crow. Ah, true words. You should just be places. Stop going places and start being places. This garbage truck has been having a time in this cul-de-sac. It's been having a party here. Oh, man. Okay, but all that's... Whoa. Oh, my bad. um, I'm not accepting, oh, wow. I guess not. Also, it's way behind. Hold on. Okay. I am going to start wrapping it up before the stream self destructs or something. I have a lot of releases, guys. The first one, at least that you guys would be familiar with, is called Nice Dream. Go listen to that. I also have a release called Love Dream. I have one called Speed Dream, one called House of Omni, one called Tall Tales, one called Daydream, another one called Lush Dream, and then two companion releases called Ego Death and Quick Breath. Please go listen to these. I worked really hard on them. I put my little heart and soul into them, and they can be found on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. While you're here on YouTube, I do have some videos that I've made. Yesterday, I almost missed making videos. I looked at a video I had because somebody posted my Easy Go video on Twitter, and I was like, I had actually gotten pretty good at editing videos. And I feel like especially now that like beat videos are like all over Twitter, and they all kind of, no offense to anybody who's making them, they all kind of look the same. Everybody's beat videos kind of just look like the Counts beat videos. It's like everybody's like knocking the Counts specific style of making videos. The only person I would say who makes videos that I find visually, not sonically, because everybody's making cool beats in them, but the only person's videos I find visually unique are Harrison's. If you're unfamiliar with Harrison, please go look him up. He's huge to me. I love that dude. Go look up Harrison videos. He puts together a pretty cool, like that man understands. Also, Soft Glass makes good videos, but I think I'm talking more so about his music videos. He doesn't really put out like regular Twitter videos or whatever, but Harrison's videos are sick. Go check him out and support him. I just feel like since so many of the videos look the same now, mine didn't look like that. Mine had like a very specific look to them as well, but it was like different. And sometimes I kind of miss being there in that space because I feel like even with everybody making beat videos, at least mine looked different. So go check out those videos. They're called Quarantunes, and there's 8 of them up on my YouTube. I would go through the list of naming them right now, but I don't know if I can. But the last one was called Easy Go, so check that one out. As far as news, I would say the biggest piece of news right now is just that there's going to be another production stream this Friday. From now until Friday, it's going to be like morning medleys as per usual. I've been working on arrangements for the Me Mine track, this one. I've been working on arrangements for that because that was the song that I was working on in the last production stream. So if you want to hear that come into some type of shape and form, come into the production stream. I also messed around yesterday with another song. So there's going to be a few things on the plate for this week's production stream. If you have any questions, though, about production, please ask them before I get into it, because I actually have a few things that are going to take up some time that are not Dropout, which has been eating up stream every week. So we'll see if we can focus on some other tracks. I think that's it as far as news, guys. There's nothing else to really keep you guys informed on. There's nothing that I'm really working on that I'm allowed to talk about. see you guys. Who are these people? I keep seeing people that I have never seen before in my neighborhood today, specifically today. Um, Sorry. No, hold on. Now hold on 1 minute. All right. Hello, oink oink. Oink Oink came at the very end, but I'm glad that you came at all. Oink Oink, thank you for being here. We have a few technical difficulties at the end, but you missed it. All you did was catch the end of Hush Hour, and for that I'm glad. I want to thank everybody for being respectful to me and polite to each other. I always appreciate that. I hope to see you guys tomorrow morning, Wednesday at 9 a.m. for Morning Medley number 1. Sorry, number 213. I didn't make as many New York jokes as I thought I would today, since 212 is a New York area code. So just pretend I did. I guess we talked about Times Square a bit. But yeah, thank you everybody for being respectful and polite to each other. I hope to see you tomorrow, Wednesday, for Morning Medley number 213. Abo.